वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः।
Namaste. Check. Sorry. Namaste and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. As always, we are so grateful to be able to offer this satsang. Grateful for your patience, for bearing with all this technical inconsistencies. But nevertheless, we are all together in this virtual space, opening our hearts and minds and exploring higher dimensions of consciousness, trying to find our way back to our true home, which is divine self. And the beautiful news that awaits us there, that we already know it, in the depths of our heart is that we will find each other in that one home. We will find all our loved ones because there is no separation there. There is no other. There is just simply oneness. And in that, the only experience is love. Love and nothing but love. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to share some of these ancient texts, ancient practices, the way we have understood it. We don't claim any scholarship on this at all, but as we progress in this path and as we use something that has helped us, we get motivated to share it, hoping that it might help someone else as well, such as you all. Sri Chakra is one such practice, one such path, if you will. It is not simply a yantra or a machine or a drawing or on a copper plate. It is much more than that. It signifies a path into one's own self. It is definitely not to please some deity out there. It is a path to discover the cosmic powers that are hidden within us, the divine powers that are hidden within us. And with that awareness, we begin to live our life every day. None of these, as I often say this, none of these are meant to make us unfit in the society. So don't please tell yourself or your children that all of this you can learn later. Right now, focus on your studies or focus on your career. All of this will actually help career, help studies, help everything. That was the purpose of Baba's educational system when he established the college in the midst of an ashram. Not just a college, but universities, in the midst of an ashram lifestyle. Because he said you could pursue your spiritual path and along with it, learn all of these other quote unquote materialistic knowledge that will help you in your everyday life. And guess what? The more we became aware of our true self, we at least got a glimpse of it. The knowing empowered us, motivated us. And we began to live life fearlessly, able to take all challenges. I can definitely speak for Maya and I. We spent more than 15 years in an ashram, each of us, both of us rather. And when we came out after our wedding in 1994, 2 years after our wedding, everything was new to us. The city traffic was new, the people were new, social interactions were new, sitting on a table and eating was new, using toilet paper was new, everything was new, credit cards were new, eating with spoons and forks were new. But we learned. There was not a moment of diffidence, not a moment of regret that, oh my God, I missed learning something. The heart opened and we naturally learned. Everything from how to interact socially, to attend corporate meetings. And today here we are in the midst of technicality. Maya's handling 4 or 5 things at one time. I'm here doing audio and keyboard and all of this. The point here I'm making is, how is this possible? It's because we learn to tap into an energy, to rely on an energy within us. And when you tap into that, that energy becomes infinite in its capacity. And today, and in the next couple of classes, we're going to talk about this infinite nature of this capacity, infinity. So that brings us. And that is why, before we go to that, that is why we need to understand this and use this as means for anything we want. You can use it as a means for self-realization. You can use it as a means to become the best businessman in the world if you want to. Neither of these are better than the other. It's your choice. It's just our choice. In Devi Bhagavatam, it is said that a sannyasi, a monk, if you will, and a businessman, both got disillusioned with life and they came to learn. And then when the sage taught them Devi Bhagavatam, they got enlightened by that story. And guess what happened to the businessman? Did he stop doing business? No, he went back to his family. And the monk became enlightened and continued his path into being enlightened and sharing that enlightenment. So it is up to us what we do with that kind of knowledge. So we are entering into the third Avarna. There are 9 Avarnas in Sri Chakra, 9 sheets, if you will, 9 coverings, if you will, 9 perspectives, if you will, that we need to clear. Each perspective is a covering, right? If I think I am Sundar, that is one Avarna, which is covering me. That is my body awareness. Oh, Sundar is very intelligent. That is the Buddhi awareness. So each of these perspectives keep covering the real me, who is not even Sundar. That is the beauty of this. So when we say Avarna, it is gates. You can call it as different gates that are initially closed, and you pray for it to open, so you go within. But when we think of gates, we think of in a linear way, right? In this dimension. But this is multi-dimensional in nature. It's not just 3-dimensional in nature. Sri Chakra is actually multi-dimensional. So each one is a dimension that opens up. And that dimension initially opens up by way of our visualizing and understanding the concepts and then experiencing it in its own beautiful way. So that experience, of course, is all up. It's up to us, and it's a personal space there. But then we can learn the meaning together and share different interpretations and see what clicks with each one of us. And that's the humble effort here. So the third Avarna, we finished the first and the second, and now we come to the third Avarna. So with all humility and prayer, and once again with great reverence, we begin this study. These are studies given to us, knowledge is given to us, that was preserved as secrets for centuries and centuries. And guess what? It's available today for you and me to open and understand. So we need to approach this with humility and reverence, because there is so much knowledge hidden in it. If we say, I don't care, I don't want to know, then we lose the chance of knowing something which could be fantastic. If we say, I know, then we again lose the chance of knowing more. So we constantly go in the approach. Our approach is always as a student of life. If there is more to learn, I'm willing to learn. And I use this time and energy to simply contemplate on the divine. In the course of that divine contemplation, if learning has to come to me, may it come. That is the kind of approach that we do in all of these learnings of the Vedic texts, Sanatana Dharma, because the texts have so many layers of meaning deeply embedded in them. And in understanding those layers itself, we get halfway into this path of enlightenment. The only other half is actually quite simple, is implementing that in our everyday life. And that simply depends on our choices and our wills and what we decide to do with that kind of knowledge. So that's the beauty. So with that reverence, humility, and joy, let us enter this divine portal, the third Avarna, hoping that the divine cosmic energy will teach us and allow us to learn. This Avarna, or sheath, consists of 8 petals. And I'll come to that in a bit. 8 petals. We did 16 petals in the last class, and in this class, it is 8 petals. So, the number 8, for those of you who are Devi Upasakas, as they are known in Sanskrit, the worshippers of the Devi principle, of the Shakti principle, number 8 should not surprise you. Number 8 is actually a very auspicious number. It's directly connected with the Shakti principle, and therefore Devi principle. And so, instead of pondering into going into too much details of all the kinds of 8s and interpretations of 8s, because we already did 2 of those 8 numbers in the first Avarna. We did the Ashta Siddhis, if you remember, and the Devis, Vaishnavi, Varahi, and so on. So we have covered that. And there are many such 8. There are 8 directions, cardinal, ordinal directions, 4 cardinal, 4 ordinal, and so on. But there is one 8 combination of 8 Shaktis that I want to share with you today because it's connected with Sri Chakra worship, not directly, but it's a context of Devi. And one needs to understand this to enter this 8 petals. So allow me to introduce that. And that is the 8 Lakshmis, Ashta Lakshmis. Ashta means 8. For those of you who practice yoga, Ashtanga yoga, you know, ekam, dve, trei, right? So, Ashta is 8. The 8th step in Surya Namaskar and so on. So, 8. Ashta. Ashta Lakshmis. Lakshmi. Lakshmi is commonly understood as fortune, as wealth, as prosperity, as riches, and all of that are correct. But there was one time in a group interview, I heard Baba mention this very beautifully. And he said it as passing in some other context. So the context may not be right, but it will apply here. And that's why I mindfully introduce these. He said, Lakshmi is actually contentment. Who is the richest man? He said. The one who is content is the richest man. The one who is content is the richest man. The one who is not content is always going to be a poor man because he always wants more. He's never content. He's never happy. And if discontentment or greed, which is another replacement of this, discontentment is the cause and all of the other greed and jealousy and all of that takes over later. But if discontentment is the cause for where you want to work, if you want a better house because you're discontented with this house, then you will not be happy with the new house as well. You know why? Because, and that happiness may be very temporary. You might move in and say, oh, this is my dream house. And within 2 months, you'll be discontent because your friend would have bought an even better house. And guess what will happen? Because you have spent 5 years, let us say, planning a new home, wanting a new home, and 5 years you have been discontent with the old home, your mind is trained to be discontented as far as home is concerned. Oh, home equals discontentment. That is the training that settles in your chitta. So when you move into a new home, it's a new experience. And so initially it appears that you have reached a state of contentment and you're like, oh gosh, this is wonderful. Oh, great, lovely. And then you walk into somebody else's house and you wonder, oh gosh, did I rush in to buy the home? Maybe the kitchen should have been like this. Look at their kitchen. It's a little more better than my kitchen. Or that their living room is much better than mine. Or they have one extra bathroom for the same price. How did we miss that? You know, things like that. Why would that come? Did you actually make a mistake? No, you didn't. You bought a good home. But you have trained your mind to get discontent. So home equals discontentment becomes a reality, and therefore the new home will soon become a discontent. Let me share with you my own example. Ever since my childhood, and I'm sure many of us share this so-called phenomenon called the Monday blues, if you will. Ever since my childhood, I would get up Monday morning, and the idea of going to school on Monday morning just won't click with me. I don't know if it's a common thing. I gather it's quite popular. We call the Monday blues. Even if it's a bright and sunny Monday, it'll still be gloomy. For me, at least. I can speak for myself. And so for years, decades, I trained to be gloomy on a Monday morning. When I was young, I would look for some stomach pain excuse or something to quote unquote, they call it bunking in India. Used to, I don't know what they call it now, but we had to bunk school or whatever. So we would look for some excuse not to go to school. So we trained ourselves that Monday morning, you're off mood. In fact, Sunday night itself, you get off mood because you know Monday morning is school, and then Monday morning comes, you're getting up and you're completely not happy on a Monday morning. So you train yourself. 1 day, 2 day, no, right? It goes from maybe my first grade onwards. I trained myself throughout. So it carried into Puttaparthi as well. It just became normal. Of course, I could talk myself, and we say there's no choice. I mean, just because I don't like doesn't mean I can't go, right? So you go to work and everything happens. And then when I became more and more conscious about this, I tried to work on it. It wasn't easy, but I was trying to work on it and understand it. So much so, the habit of that, the habit of equating Monday with discomfort or I don't know the right word for it, early morning Monday, like I'll call it the Monday blues. So the mood is not good on Monday morning. And that became so normal that you hear the word Monday and morning, the mind doesn't look forward as much as it does Friday evening, right? Or Saturday. It doesn't look, both of them have two different reactions. You can ask yourself if it applies to you. So much so that in 2011, I gave my job and everything, and I wanted to do this. This is what my soul wanted, my heart wanted, and everything wanted this. And in the last 9 years or so, guess what? I still have that when I get up on Monday morning. For no reason. I'm doing the thing I love the most. And it goes away in like 3 minutes. But I catch myself when I get off the bed on a Monday morning. It's a very different manner. So it is that deep-rooted. So even if I'm doing my dream work, my soul work, my soul's mission, if you may, life's mission, I find complete fulfillment in what I'm doing right now. But even though I'm doing that, I have trained my mind to find discontentment on a Monday morning. Discontentment is not the right word, but perhaps to be not happy on a Monday morning. And so that is still difficult to go, right? I'm working on it. But I wanted to share with you, so discontentment is a mental ailment. We train ourselves to be discontented. I'm not saying you should be happy with your job if you're not happy with it. But don't equate job with discontentment. You have to know that I'm not happy with certain people in the job, not the job per se, and so on. You have to really be very mindful, and you have to explore what is the cause that is upsetting me. Because if I blame it on my job in general, on my manager in general, then I am going to find that same thing in a new place as well. It will not change. Because I've equated those situations, those persons, those positions with dissatisfaction, unhappiness, and so on. So when I work from a place of discontentment, which is as a broad word, because I want some better job, a better relationship, a better movie, a better TV, a better object, and a better thing. So I'm discontent, right, basically. And I find faults. Anything and everything we can find fault. Nothing is perfect in this world. And therefore, I come into Baba also. I'll say, oh, no, he is not talking to me. He's not accessible. I need a guru more accessible. So I find another guru. Then that guru is too accessible, so I want somebody else. And this goes on. So I am creating distance. The problem is mine as a person, as an individual. And therefore, Baba said, that person who's discontent is a poor man. I could be in a mansion, but I would be discontent. I would have a fleet of cars with me and I would be discontent. I would have all the friendships I wanted, a loving family, I could be still discontent and poor. And therefore, it is in some context like that, Swami said, Lakshmi ani ante enaga, emti Lakshmi ante contentment. Contentment. Lakshmi is contentment. I've never heard that before. And so that stuck with me. And that's how I look at this goddess of Lakshmi. I'm content. And in that contentment, she gives you more opportunities to be more contented. And therefore, I am thankful for what I have today from my heart. I'm content. And then I'm presented with an occasion to better myself. And therefore, I say, wow, I'm even more content and more content. And so the thank you adds on, the positivity builds on. So that is where you draw the power of Lakshmi into our lives, because we're going into the subject of infinity in this 8 petals. So we have to really understand, how do we tap into this power of infinity? Because this is, otherwise it will stand a philosophical concept. Oh, everything is infinite and unending, and God can give us whatever we want. What does that even mean, right? We have to first understand how to tap into this energy of infinity. So infinity means that when I tap and I'm content, then I have infinite possibilities that arise from that contentment. It is a very difficult concept to understand in today's world because we are taught not to be content. Every advertisement is exploiting your weakness of discontentment and making you want something which you perhaps never wanted at all. It is creating a desire. It is creating a discontentment with what you have. Right? You remember the ads where they show you an old phone doesn't work, they run in and out, and they'll show you a new phone, they'll be sitting everywhere, it works everywhere, and then your mind says, yeah, my phone is like that, I want the new one, correct? So they create discontentment. Education teaches you, come on. And so today, we believe contentment is somehow not equal to growth. But that's completely wrong, completely wrong. Contentment is the actual foundation on which permanent and infinite growth is possible. It is possible with contentment. Your motivation comes when your true motivation comes when you're contented. The motivation that comes, the false motivation that seemingly is you get when you are dissatisfied and want to grow more, that is not real motivation. That is simply a mindless craving that is driving you to acquire something. But when you're content, then your job, you begin to reflect excellence. Because the question will ask, okay, so explain to me a little better, how can contentment bring growth? Now, if I'm content with my job, in my position, I was a database administrator. I was very happy. I was learning there daily. There'll be some problems. I take it as a challenge. All right, let's try and see what is wrong with it. I can't get angry with machines, right? So there must be some logical problems in programming or something. So it was fun. So you do indexing and you redo this and redo that and work on this and the queries that go into the database and blah, blah, blah. So it was fun. I was content. Because I was content and happy, I was more productive. I was not late for work. I didn't cringe from work. I liked taking up problems. And the company began to see me as a problem solver. And so very soon they promoted me to a senior database administrator without me having to fight for it, without me having to apply for that position, without me having to ask for it and compete for it. I had to do nothing. How did that fall onto my lap? Because I was contented, and because of my contentment, my productivity automatically went up. I began to excel in what I did to my best extent, right? I was doing my best, enjoying doing my best, and that automatically grew. It will grow. It's like a law in the universe. Growth is a law in the universe. That's why even in science, when they say Big Bang, what is happening to the universe now after the Big Bang that happened millions of years ago, if that was an historical event? And in this plane, we can agree, yes. What is happening to the universe? The universe is still expanding. It is still expanding. So there is expansion and growth is a law in the universe. We don't have to think and work towards it. We have to accept that contentment will you will draw into that universal principle that is already happening in place, that will come. What is our ultimate nature? Omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, expansion, infinity. How will that come? When I'm content with the self. Know that the self is everything. So contentment is a very powerful quality, and therefore I wanted to introduce that as we understand these 8 petals, and we reverentially explore these beautiful 8 Shaktis that we know as Ashta Lakshmis. There are many versions of how many types of 8 Lakshmis are there. 4 or 5 are common in most of them. 1 or 2 or 3 might change, and it has changed over centuries. But I have a list of 8 that I like. I feel one with it. It speaks to my heart, and therefore I keep it. You can pick up from the 108 names of Lakshmi. You can pick up 8 of your choice, your favorite ones, list it, and they will become your 8 Lakshmis. But know that every meaning of Lakshmi, you have to add contentment to that. Without the word contentment, Lakshmi means giving. So let's go through that. Dhanalakshmi, the first thing we talk about, right? Lakshmi, Dhanalakshmi, 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 Dhanalakshmi. Lakshmi means wealth. Every picture you see, her hand is like this and gold coins are pouring out. It's a good thing. So Dhanalakshmi, that is one of the 108, one of the 1,008 types of the Shaktis. So Dhanalakshmi is wealth. But you have to say wealth and contentment, or contentment and wealth. That is when Lakshmi will come. If you say, I need more wealth, Lakshmi will come. She will give you more wealth. Don't worry. Have a picture of Lakshmi. She will give you more wealth. She will give you more wealth. No. Let her give you contentment with what you have. Dhana Lakshmi. Let her give you contentment with wealth. That contentment is the Lakshmi energy. Remember that. That is when you will touch into Lakshmi. And that Lakshmi, when she gets invoked through contentment, she will continuously give you. And what is that? That is infinite. The river never runs dry. It will come to you when you need it. It will just keep pouring. That's all. That is the beauty of Lakshmi energy. So wealth. Think of contentment with wealth. Happiness and contentment. Not just positive thinking. Deep in your heart, you should say, I'm so grateful. At least this is being provided. And at least once a day, say thanks from the depths of your heart for that. For whatever wealth you have in your hand or in your bank, just say deep thanks for that. Even if you have credit, even if you're credit worthy, that is also wealth. You are able to borrow money, that is also wealth. So thanks, say, at least you gave me the power to borrow. And therefore, I'm content. And watch how the psyche changes. Not in 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 weeks, because like I said, depends on what habits we have sown, how long we have sown these habits of discontentment. We have to work on it mindfully, powerfully, and forcefully to remove those kind of discontentments if we are tapping into these 8 petals of infinity. Dhanalakshmi, Dhanyalakshmi. 2 most important things that we look for in Lakshmi. Food and money, correct? So wealth, food. Dhanyalakshmi, contentment with food. We are not content by eating once a day. We are not content eating twice a day. We are not content eating 3 times a day. We are not content with snacks in the middle. And guess what is happening? Because of that eating. In general, look around. With all the science, with all the advancement in technology, with all the so-called, we call it advancement today in mankind, we call it mankind has advanced since centuries. Have we really become more healthy? No. We haven't. We should have conquered this a long time ago, but we haven't. What is the cause? Eating unnecessary excess food, right? And where does that come from? It comes from discontentment. And so if a rich man is having a lot of food on his dining table, it doesn't mean Dhanya Lakshmi is blessing him. Because in that excessive greed, he's not content with that meal on his plate. He goes for more and more and more, and eventually he falls sick. So Lakshmi is not there. Our definition of Lakshmi has to change. Please consider the word contentment for Lakshmi. Invoke her as contentment, the energy of contentment. Dhanalakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi. Gaja Lakshmi Gaja means elephant. Elephant is known for strength, vigor, vitality, and all of that. Because he's strong, he's big. So in general, Gaja could stand for strength, or I just put it as one category. For me, it's all together, health. Gaja Lakshmi. She gives health. Again, health comes from contentment. Most of our ailments today, stress and others, are because we're not content where we are. And guess what? That stress that we call it, we blame the environment, we blame the government, we blame the food, we blame everything as if we are victims of circumstances, not knowing that we are the one who's architecting this. While that's a difficult pill to swallow, that is true, right? When I buy a car, I buy the nice things about the car, the status symbol that comes with the car, I get all of that. But I also, along with the package, I also buy, what do I buy? I buy the probability that one in 10,000 or 1 in 20,000 meet with an accident, so I could be that 1 in 50. I buy that probability, right? I may not like it, but it comes as the package. I get both. I get both. And therefore, Gaja Lakshmi, health, contentment comes. So when we are stressed, then health is what suffers. And therefore, Gaja Lakshmi stays away. Today, mental ailments like addiction, depression, all of that is because Gaja Lakshmi is out of our consciousness. We want more of this, more of that. We want more of this. Everybody is happy. I'm not happy. Everybody is getting married. I'm not getting married. Everybody is finding a job. I'm not finding a job. Everybody is doing this. I'm not doing this. Many of us think in many ways like this. We compare ourselves to people, those who have, and then think what we don't have, and then we get stressed about it. We push it away, but that doesn't mean it goes away. It goes into our minds and comes back and haunts us when we are alone. Children face this problem today, correct? Because of social media, because of constant comparisons between who looks how and who's got which kind of boyfriend or girlfriend and who's got what gadgets. That constant comparison leads to stress, and stress takes away health, mental and physical. So Gaja Lakshmi is not present. Again, what is that? Lack of contentment. We're not looking into the mirror and saying, my God, there is no one else like me in this whole world. Which is true, right? It is very true. Look at yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning and ask yourself, is there anyone like this person in the world, the person in the mirror that I see? Is there anyone like that? No. Why can't you capitalize on your uniqueness of being that one, not 1 in a million, not in 1 trillion, one on this planet? 7+ trillion people exist on this planet, I believe. So you're 1 in 7 trillion people. And if you put in all the species and all, it goes way beyond, correct? But it's true. Your DNA is so unique. You are so unique. Your experiences are so unique. So Gaja Lakshmi is when you're content with your health. Contentment comes. Everything else. All right. Dhairya Lakshmi. Dhairya Lakshmi is perseverance, self-restraint, patience. Patience and perseverance. Dhairya can also be courage and all of that. But in this context, in Sanskrit, you can use the same word in different contexts. Dhairya, I have used here for patience, fortitude, perseverance, self-restraint, and so on. To me, if I'm able to persevere in something, stay steady in that path without getting diverted, without getting distracted, without getting tempted, if I'm able to harness the energy of self-restraint in my words, in my actions, I'm learning, but as I tap into it, I realize what a great wealth that is. What a great wealth that is. And that, to me, is Lakshmi. So when I practice these energies of discipline, self-restraint, patience, perseverance, I know I am invoking Dhairya Lakshmi. I bow to her every time I am helped and guided to stay on whatever path I've chosen or whatever project I've chosen to complete. without giving into temptations or without pushing it away, or doing it another day and so on. I know the Dhairya Lakshmi is with me. Dhairya Lakshmi. Then comes Veera Lakshmi. Veera Lakshmi is courage. One needs to be fearless. Fear comes from discontentment. Courage comes from contentment. In that I am God mantra that Baba gave us, I am God, I am God, I am not different from God. It ends with I am ever content. Fear cannot enter me, I am ever content. Fear cannot enter me. Why? Because I am ever content. When I'm content, the fear of loss, all of that just goes away. If there is fear, there is some kind of discontentment. Think about that. Contemplate on that. So when we exhibit courage, we exhibit fearlessness, then we are invoking Veera Lakshmi. She is flowing through us as that courage principle. And she has that ability to continuously flow through us as courage, as long as we are content. So, Veera Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, wisdom. Spiritual knowledge or material knowledge or all of this knowledge comes from built from the foundation of contentment. Discontentment, the way we are seeking degrees today, Baba would often tell us, please don't make your degrees a begging bowl. Don't go begging for more work and for more salary. Don't make your degree into a begging bowl. How powerful is that statement? Wisdom. If you're truly wise and if it reflects in your thoughts, in your words and in your deeds, then everybody will want you, because knowledge is power that everyone knows. Right? From the illiterate to the most educated, most powerful man, they know that knowledge is power. The pen has always been, always will be mightier than the sword. But that wisdom is priceless. That wisdom is priceless. And that priceless wisdom can only be shared in a priceless way. That is why Baba set up free education. And in keeping with that, KYG, we do everything free. Because of Vidya Lakshmi. That Vidya, this Vidya that we are learning together in these virtual spaces, is Lakshmi flowing at this moment into your hearts, into my heart. I'm just a medium talking. I don't claim any credit for any of this. Not because I'm trying to be humble, but it's just a matter of fact. That's how it is. And therefore, when I'm content with the wisdom that is flowing into me and through me, more wisdom comes. Because neither am I trying to own it, neither am I trying to stop it or curb it, or nor am I trying to, worst case scenario, sell it. I cannot put a price tag on something that I believe is priceless, however big that price tag may be. Wisdom. Baba tells a very beautiful story, and I've heard him tell this only once. I was so touched by it, I remember it forever. And that is the foundation behind my belief in this. He said a jeweler was walking on a street in a market. And as he was walking, he saw a young urchin, a village boy, playing with marbles by the side of the road. He was a jeweler. And as he walked by, he looked at the boy was playing with something shiny. Little pebbles, but they were shiny. His eyes caught, the shiny pebbles caught his attention. So he went and saw, and to his amazement, he saw they were diamonds. This boy was playing with diamonds. Rough, uncut maybe, but they were diamonds. He was shocked. He said, oh my God, this boy doesn't know the value of these diamonds. These diamonds are worth hundreds and thousands of rupees, if not lakhs. So he calls this boy and he says, hey boy, come here. Have you had your food today? The boy says, of course, he's a poor boy. He says, yeah, I just had something a little bit. And the jeweler says, what if I give you money for the next 2 or 3 days? Will you be happy? And the boy says, yes, of course. You can buy all the sweets you want and eat and have fun. And the boy says, yes. And the jeweler says, all I want is those pebbles you're playing with. Can you give it to me? And the boy hands these pebbles eagerly to this merchant who gives him 500 rupees for something that is worth maybe 50 lakhs, let's say, or 5 million rupees. He gives 500 rupees, let's say like $5. I'm just putting these currencies so you can have reference. So $5 for something worth 50 million. And the boy hands these diamonds to this jeweler, who is a very devoted man, by the way. And the boy goes away happy. The jeweler looks at the diamonds in his hand. And Baba said, suddenly those diamonds burst into 1,000 pieces. The jeweler was shocked. He said, what did I do? What did I do? Because a stone breaking or a stone having even a defect is not considered a good sign. So the whole thing broke. So that's a very bad omen for a jeweler who spent his whole life doing its stones, right? So the whole thing broke into pieces. He said, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And then the deity of that jewels appeared. A form of Lakshmi appeared. And he looked at the Devi and said, why did you leave me? I could have made you a beautiful jewel for a temple or for a princess or a queen. Then the Devi said, it is because you insulted me, I am leaving. And still the jeweler didn't get it. He said, how could I insult you? I was going to make you a crown jewel. And this boy was playing with you in the mud with cow dung and all of that. Wasn't that an insult? As a jeweler, I recognize your value and I wanted to make a jewel out of you. So how can what I do be an insult? And the Devi said, the boy did not know my value. For him, it was a marble and he was playing marbles or pebbles or whatever he was playing with it. For him, I was just a mere stone. He did not know my value and hence he is forgiven. But you who knew my value, you paid a pittance to this boy and thus insulted me. The jeweler knew that this value was $50 million, let's say, 3 large diamond pieces, and yet he paid $5 to this kid. Thus he insulted the pricelessness of that diamond, and therefore the diamond lost meaning. The set of diamonds or whatever, they all lost meaning. And therefore the deity vanished, and the jeweler learned his lesson. This is what happens in Vidya Lakshmi. A very powerful energy. Vidya is wisdom. Wisdom that is available to us to take us right up to self-actualization, self-realization. But when we stop to own it, this is mine, this is copyrighted, you cannot take it, I cannot take it, this bhajan is mine, this is yours, and so on and so forth, or whatever it is we do. And then we try to sell what in my heart or in our hearts we believe is priceless, we put a price tag to it. How can we put a price tag to it? I haven't figured that out yet. And therefore, Vidya Lakshmi draws herself away. And what we are left is knowledge. We are left with some knowledge, some intellectual gymnastics that we do around, and we carry on our lives, for which we actually need to use only perhaps 2% of our capacity, truly. We use a lot of it just to earn our daily bread and to save up something for a future we do not know will exist or not exist. Right? And we carry on. Vidya Lakshmi is not yet come. When Vidya comes, she will come when there is contentment. And that contentment opens doors to higher learning. Vijaya Lakshmi, victory. Victorious. There is nothing like loss. There is nothing like defeat. In a true sense. It might seem very strange, but there is nothing like loss, nothing like defeat. We feel we are defeated because we compare ourselves with somebody else. I'm stuck in the same position in my office. Everybody else is progressing, and therefore I'm losing in life. If everybody else was in the same position, if there was no such thing as promotion ever, would we have thought we lost? Or we would say, 20 years I'm in the same position, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. But that doesn't work. We feel loss, we feel defeat when we compare ourselves with somebody else. And therefore we get discontented with where we are. And if discontentment is what is going to spur my desire to grow, to expand, then that expansion is going to be very limited. But if I'm content, then victory is given to me. That is why even in sports, they say, don't worry about winning and losing. Worry about doing your best. Or worry may be a wrong word, but I'm just saying, focus on doing your best. And the next game, do better than what you did best. Winning and losing will present themselves automatically. So contentment comes from me focusing on doing my very best, and that is my true victory. I am my own competitor. If I did something yesterday, I said, can I improve it today? Can I improve it? Can I do something better than what I did yesterday? If I am doing that, I feel more and more victorious. I don't have to worry about anybody else. What others think, what others speak about me, what others think about me, where others are in life, at my age, where is somebody else? We all left Puttaparthi together. We all left the university together. And today, look at where he is, look at where you are. All of this, it doesn't matter. This kind of comparison leaves discontentment because we are not capitalizing on our uniqueness. So they are all interlinked, all these Lakshmis. Vijaya Lakshmi, victoriousness, victory, comes when there is contentment. And the last one is Bhagya Lakshmi. I can have all of the 7, but I need to have the good fortune to experience all of that, right? I need to have the good fortune to experience wealth. I need to have the good fortune to experience good food. I need to have the good fortune to experience health. A good fortune to experience wisdom and victory and all of these, perseverance and so on. So giving you that good fortune to experience itself is a Lakshmi. Bhagya Lakshmi, good fortune, we say. She gives you that good fortune. Good fortune means she creates that environment where you can experience this wealth, experience contentment, in other words. So though I put her last, it just means that she is the one who provides for all of the others. Like in Vedic astrology, they say, oh, you will go abroad. But when will you go abroad? There is a particular combination that has to happen among the planets that will spur you to get out of your comfort zone. And you will perhaps step and cross a sea to go outside your country. So that is caused by Bhagya Lakshmi. She creates that environment to spur you. She creates that experience. These are the 8 Lakshmis that I tune into personally. Now there are other Lakshmis like Santana Lakshmi, where you have progeny and children and so on and so forth. Maya and I decided not to have children, so it doesn't figure in my thinking. So I don't kind of tune into that. So you have to figure out for yourself, what are the 8 Lakshmis? Who are my Ashta Lakshmis? For many of us, most of these might be common, or these could be the same. You might add Santana Lakshmi and so on. But then there are some popular ones where they call of Adi Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi. But that Adi Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi is that supreme energy from which all the these functions come from. That's how I understand that. Anyway, so you have to figure it out and see who are your Ashta Lakshmis. Which are the Ashta Lakshmis that you tune into? Meditate on them. Let them bless you with contentment. And may that contentment open doors to infinite, an experience of infinity, if you will. Infinity means the unending experience in every field. A sense of well-being and health all the time. a sense of contentment with food and not craving for food all the time, a sense of contentment with wealth and happiness from what little I have all the time, a contentment, a sense of perseverance, self-restraint, patience all the time, a sense of fearlessness. So what is going to happen? What am I going to lose? There's nothing to lose. And therefore I will not be afraid to take a new step. Wisdom, humility to know that there is so much more to understand in this universe and so little has been grasped. And that being content with what I have opens doors to more learning. Victory, understanding that there is no loss, there is always victory to the one who's contented. And lastly, the ability to even experience one of these at some point, a combination of all these at some point. And the fact that I'm able to experience the biting of the food and the taste of food in my mouth is Lakshmi. And am I being grateful for that experience? Then Bhagya Lakshmi is invoked. So to me, the word Ashta is a very, very auspicious word. Ashtami is an auspicious, Ashtami is the 8th night of the moon, whether it's waxing or waning. They both are very, very auspicious for me. And that is the moon that is described on Devi's head. Because that moon, you will not know, it's exactly in the middle of the 16, right? You do not know if it's a waxing phase or the waning phase of the moon by looking at the 8th night. That is the beauty of that 8th night moon. So 8 is a very auspicious number. Now you might say, why do they say Ashtami, don't do anything good? They don't say it is you and I have understood like that, but it is don't do anything materialistic. Don't go start making money. This is why. On Ashtami, you don't buy a car, you don't buy a home, you don't start doing anything new, because all the things that you and I normally do these days are all materialistic things. How do I make more money? Can I start a new business on Ashtami? They say no. Ashtami is not that day. Ashtami is a day for contentment. Don't do anything. Meditate and pray, because that is a day you actually are content. Don't go buy a new car on Ashtami. Don't start a new business on Ashtami. Don't sign a new deal on Ashtami, because Ashtami is not that. The cosmic influence into the psyche is that night, that day, the lunar influence is such that you experience contentment. That is what Ashtami is about. Experiencing Lakshmi energy, contentment. And therefore, we don't do anything which is considered worldly or materialistic. We become introvert on that night and use it for meditation. It's halfway from the new moon to the full moon, and vice versa. My dear sisters and brothers, this journey into Sri Chakra is a very enlightening journey. As much as we are all learning, it's very important that we use these to transform ourselves, to change who we are, work on the chitta, impressions on the chitta, and begin cleansing. That inner cleansing has to begin. And all of these divine powers that we invoke will help us. The 8 petals have nothing to do with these 8 Lakshmis, but they are 8 petals. And because of the number 8, and because we are going to talk about the Ananga Shakti, the infinite Shaktis, I wanted to share tonight these 8 means of touching infinity, and also invoke Goddess Lakshmi, because she stands for that infinite grace. So it is with that I bring this satsang to a close. Today, for some reason, I'm not ready for a bhajan, so I'll just sing Om Shri Matre Namah for a little bit, and we'll sign off for tonight. Thank you all for your patience.
Om Shri Matre Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha. Om 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 Shri Matre Namaha. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. जय बोलो पवन सुत हनुमान की जय. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव. ओम शांति शांति शांति.